What's good? I'm pretty sure I gotta charge that battery, so let's see if we even make it through this video. Let me just try to go quickly here before that shit dies on me. But yeah, my bad guys. Haven't posted in like over a week at this point. Trying to learn about PHP and databases and database driven websites for that company. Hopefully that thing ends up being pretty good. But there's a lot of reading going on that thing. If you want to be an entrepreneur or any kind of like person doing new stuff, there's going to be a lot of learning to get through before you can really start doing the cool things you want to do. At least that's what I'm experiencing right now. So it's all good. Let's keep these videos going. Hopefully I can get to some sort of semblance of consistency here on these videos once more. It's September now, first bit of September 2021, so let's get it. Let me just try to go quickly because of that battery, like I said. So people in the United States celebrating the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. I recently read a CNN story that was voicing concern about far-right groups in the United States supposedly celebrating the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. To be 100% honest, this was not shocking to hear, at least for me. The Taliban is an extremely far-right group, so there are similarities in their thinking, and in some of the thinking of the far-right groups here in the United States. Taliban are basically a far-right group that decided to fight to take back what they felt was their territory. They had been occupied by the Soviet Union decades ago, and this occupation was replaced by the United States in the early 2000s. I don't know how long the Taliban has been around, but I would definitely not be surprised if they gained a lot more recruits over the decades, both young and old. And when I was watching some of the footage about on the news from their takeover, it definitely seemed like they were young and old people with like their guns and everything that took over the presidential palace, I think they called it, and like they were roaming the streets later. In some of that footage I was seeing both young and old. The Taliban basically believed that their territory had been compromised, that their government was a sellout, and that foreign entities were occupying their land and extracting their resources. This is exactly what many far-right groups believe here in the United States. Furthermore, in some ways, this is what the Patriots believed about the Loyalists and the British to a certain extent. At least the more radical ones, and I'm talking about the American Revolution here, all the way back in the late 1700s. Also, similarly to the Patriots, the Taliban now believe that they have successfully defeated the most powerful military and country in the world, which they kind of did. They outlasted the occupation. What is good, my brethren? What is good? What is good? We were not able to finish. We were not able to make it yesterday with that recording there. My battery actually died midway through the video. And then I ended up not even, I charged it, but then gotta love that PHP and WAMP stacks, LAMP stacks, and MAMP stacks. Gotta love that stuff because I was not able to get back to recording the video until now, the next day. So, yeah, it's all good. We're back here now. I got some even more scripts written. Like I said, hope we get back to that consistency. Here we are. I think when I left off yesterday, I was discussing how the Taliban, they were similar, not the exact same, obviously. I mean, we're talking about a gap of over 200 years, 250-ish years or so, in terms of those original American patriot revolutionaries and these Taliban forces So obviously not exactly the same, and then there's different dynamics going there. Like the Patriots, they were technically, although a lot of them had not really known their British their British roots for a while, given that it had been a long time since the British colonies formed, at least many of them, not all of them. But at least definitely those initial ones in the Northeast, it had been a while since those British colonies formed up until like the Revolution. I mean, over 100 years in some cases. So they were not necessarily too tied to their British roots when the revolution actually happened, but technically they were ethnically British, a lot of them. So it's definitely not the same in terms, like a lot of these Taliban fighters are definitely, they're not ethnically American. I mean, you can't really even say ethnically American, honestly, because America is a melting pot. But they did not have the same ties to America as those early patriots did to Britain. So it's definitely not the same, but there are some similarities. And yeah, so let's get back to the script where I left off. So they outlasted the occupation of their own soil. We're talking about the Taliban fighters here, and fought long enough until the occupiers left. So overall, there are just some similarities I see between these different far-right groups, so I was not surprised by the headline. Also, don't get me started about the woman aspect, and I'll put MGTOW in the title of this video, so the women aspect here we'll discuss. We keep hearing over and over again, over and over and over again, about how women's rights will be affected, and how women will take a step back with the Taliban in charge. Honestly, this could be true, and we're already seeing it ever since I wrote this script, which was about a week ago. We're already seeing that this is probably going to be true. Women will take a step back with the Taliban in charge. If those women, or I mean at least a step back when taking into account a Western idea of progressivism, they'll take a step back. In some ways, they'll actually have more sway in society than we'll probably see a lot of these Western women have moving forward. And that's something I've covered in my previous videos, and I'll probably cover that in later videos as we see it happen in real time. So there's pros and cons to both these societies, and I'm not here to give you an opinion on one or the other. Like, I'm not from Afghanistan. I am from California in America. So I have grown up with one way of seeing things. Obviously, I'm MGTOW. I'm like a variety, but I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. I'm just going to kind of report on what's going on. You guys, if you've been following this channel for any length of time, you already know my plans on like how I'm going to deal with these like sex dynamics and whatnot in like my life, and what I'm pursuing and what I'm not pursuing. So I won't get into that here. I'll just give you the details. So if those women prefer Western ideals to Sharia law, then yeah, it is going to be a very poor time for them and a step backward. But there's a balance to it. Even women in the West are beginning to realize the downsides to the lifestyle that has been fed to them over the past 40 to 50 years, especially with poor economic times that we are entering now. We are really going to see some of these consequences. I'll just say consequences. Other words could probably be used there, but I'll just say consequences. And many men, even men who are not even close to far right, are beginning to question these progressive women concepts, goals, ideals, etc. So overall, there's a balance that both social systems are overshooting, perhaps. Like that's, I'm not gonna overshooting in that there's just two extremes, and if like you just take the middle, they're overshooting the middle. But again, given their own desires and wants for their own society, it could be right at what they want. Like, so to them, they're not overshooting at all. And that's just, but if you just take those extremes and you take it down the middle, they're overshooting the middle for sure. But yeah, so we'll just see how it is, how it moves forward from here. Like I said, I'll be covering things on this channel, so stay tuned. I won't get to it all, as you've seen, with me taking that week off. I do have my own agenda, for one thing, my own things I'm doing in my own life, and that will affect some of the things I cover. So definitely, like, my channel, you follow my channel, but also get that perspective from other areas too. Like, there's many areas to get your news from, get your current events from. So definitely stay tuned to my channel for sure. But take in those other methods, those other sources of getting your information. So yeah, that is the video for now. Like I said, we'll try to get back to that consistency. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this one. Let's see how fluid the video goes, because there was actually a day in between that cut from the first video to the second. The first recording to the second recording that will come together to comprise this video. So yeah, leave your comments, anything interesting y'all have to say. Pray for me in that business. Hopefully you'll see that really come into its own over the course of this channel. So I'm excited for different things. Hopefully y'all excited for different things too. And then I'll have in my later scripts, like, definitely prepare yourself. If you put yourself in a good position here moving forward, I think there's going to be some good times for you. Don't fall into the state of lack and the war zone kind of mindset that is being pushed basically on all sides now, which makes sense because that is the direction that generally things are going. But you don't have to necessarily succumb to all of that, and definitely keep tuned to my channel if you don't want to succumb to that stuff, because I'm trying to go a different way and like start thriving out here. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'll catch y'all later. Sunny days. Enjoy the summer for the rest of the time you have it. If you're in a place where there's summer right now, like, I keep forgetting I even have some Aussies watching my channel, so I think it's winter for you guys down there. But yeah, I'm done talking. Peace out, guys. Catch y'all later.